All right, so give me your biggest surprise so far this season. It can be a team, it can be a player, whatever.
I mean, I already talked about it. I think Michigan State losing first game to James Madison. AJ Hogarth.
That's disappointment. That's your biggest disappointment?
You said, oh, you're saying surprise for positive. I think you meant surprise for negative. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, do you want to start with disappointments now?
Yeah, you're good. You're a negative guy, so we'll start.
Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, I think that AJ Hogarth has been bafflingly bad at times. I also found it really interesting to see his technical foul with Pierre Brooks and then the way they interacted in the handshake line.
Really I didn't see it. What happened?
Yeah, like they were jawing on the court, and that's like not uncommon. You know, the competitive juices get going. Hogarth got a check, and then in the handshake line, there was a video on Twitter where like Pierre was dapping up all his old teammates and coaches, and then him and Hogarth just like walked by each other, which not that all teammates always like each other, and that's, you know, and they don't have to. Like, as long as you can learn to play together, that's fine. But it stood out. You know, it stood out. Hogarth has had his role simplified into the extreme by Tom Izzo. Push the basketball, defend, don't play through your jumper, get your teammates involved. Like, that is his job.
Yeah. And
he has not done a good job at that. He has had moments. I thought against Duke, he actually did get his teammates involved well. He had 8 assists. His jump shot has been awful. He made his first 3 against Butler. The thing about him, though, is that his ceiling is high. We saw him against Kansas State go for 25 and 6 in a Sweet 16 game. He's capable of that, but his floor is low, or his floor is like a wave. You know, his floor is like always moving. That's the floor for AJ Hogarth. Their free throw shooting has been bizarre. Like, Tyson Walker is a good foul shooter, but he has not been this year, while being awesome in every other facet. I worry about them. They don't have a back to the basket presence outside of Malik Hall, whose aggressiveness is like a wave. Like against Duke, you saw him. He is from the jump locked. He is locked in. In other games, you're like, is he turning down wide open shots? You know, I just don't. He's got every physical tool to be a really good player in college.
How is Izzo? How is Izzo, Rob? Because he was really in a positive mood after the loss to Duke, because in his mind,
he always sees the big picture. In my experience of talking to Coach Izzo, I've never felt like he is despondent. But and maybe in certain situations he is on like seasons that have gone really awry, and there's only a few that have for him. But I always feel like he views these setbacks as opportunities to learn and get better. And he's definitely a big believer in practice and how he can get his teams better. And his track record shows that he can do that. I feel like he's been pretty positive. He's talked about how their shooting was good all summer. Yep. It was good in the fall. They're due. But I said this earlier. He has had to coach guys and things that I am shocked he's had to coach.
Like what?
Like effort.
Yeah.
You know, effort, rebounding. When I was in college, the week leading up to Michigan State was comical in practice, because the entire practice would be dedicated to transition defense, where we would do like the disadvantage drills where 5 guys line up on the baseline, 5 guys are lined up at foul line and extended. And Coach Payne would throw the ball to one of the guys on the baseline. Whoever was standing in front of the foul line would have to go touch the line, 5-on-4. Transition. Everything was transition D. And other than that, it was rebound war. And we would just beat the living shit out of each other for 4 days leading up to it, because we knew that was what was going to decide the game. And at times, Michigan State's defensive rebounding this year has just been horrific, you know? So I think their fast break has been okay. I think they always feel like it can be better. But just the inconsistencies with a team that's a veteran group. But I will say, and I caught some flack, I feel like, from some Michigan State people that listen to this podcast. This was an 11-9 team last year. And it's mostly the same quarterback, and they lost their best shooter, spot-up shooter. And these freshmen are talented, but how much are they going to get to play, and how much are they ready to play? Cohen Carr is the most physically ready to play. Great against James Madison. He's been just all right, I would say. He guarded Filipowski well against Duke. He's got some real limitations on defense off the ball. He's got to be a cutter and an offensive rebounder. And Cohen Carr can be great at that role. And he's got to keep working on his jumper for probably not even this year, but down the line. Jeremy Fears is a good player, but he's behind Tyson Walker. He's still behind AJ Hoggard. He's just not. He's the backup
score either. He's not a shooter.
No, and he's a guy that gets other people involved. He gets other people involved. And then Xavier Booker is just not physically ready for prime time in major college basketball. He can shoot. He's talented. He can run, jump. But they've been disappointed. I think they've had to coach things that I would have thought they'd be coaching.
All right, that was like a diatribe on your biggest disappointment, which is Michigan State. I'm not going to go that deep on St. Mary's, but the Gales are clearly the team I picked to go to the Final Four. I completely put a hex on them because they've been.
I feel like all your picks always suck.
That's not true. That's not true.
Did you pick Michigan State to win the league, the Big Ten?
I did. Just to spite you, though.
There's still plenty of time that they could still win, though.
Right. And St. Mary's could flip it. Now, again, I'm worried about them because I think too much is on Aiden Mahaney right now.
Well, do you think this is like a example of reading your press clippings too much? Like, they got so much pub, and normally that's Gonzaga's deal.
They lost Logan Johnson, who was their like athletic defender.
He was a leader, right? Set the tone.
Yeah. Yes. He was tough. He was vocal. He was older. They're still older, but like Dukas is coming back from a back injury and he's kind of up and down. And Marcellonis, Augustus, I thought was going to take the jump. He has not been very good. He's been erratic. Saxon down low is good, but again, you're so dependent on Mahaney to go off every game right now, and you can game plan against him. So they've really, really been disappointing. I still think Randy Bennett is one of the best coaches in America, and I think he'll turn it around. But it may take a while, and they may have to win the league. Like that could be one where honestly they have to win the league to get in the NCAA tournament because I don't know who are they going to pick off. I don't know what they have left here in the non-conference. I can look at it right now and see, but I don't generally they don't play a ton of Davidson, Utah, Boise State, Cleveland State, Colorado State, UNLV, Middle Tennessee State, Northern Kentucky, Missouri State, Kent State. Like not a lot there. There's no other big boys that you're going to pick off that are a guaranteed tournament team. So you got to probably this point either win your league or finish second but dominate, have Gonzaga win it and only lose to Gonzaga.
Yeah, that's crazy because they were getting so much before the season.
Yeah, they've got Weber State, San Diego State, and now they're going to lose to Xavier tonight. So I'll go.
They got the Goodman curse as well.
Amazing. Who else do you have? I think I know your second one. It's pretty easy.
I mean, it has to be Maryland with who they bring back, and you got Jameer Young to come back. You got Julian Reese back. You got Dante Scott back. Deshaun Harris-Smith was looked at as one of the best freshmen to come into the Big Ten this year, but they have been abysmal shooting the basketball, and they have been horrific at taking care of the basketball. Yeah. So not a good combo, 21% from three. The offense just feels like it's impossible to score. I mean, the Nova game, I didn't think they'd make it to 40 points, which is like –
wouldn't have. I think they won a 13-2 run in the last 3 minutes.
I know, and they got to 40. Yeah. Like that is – but they've lost to Davidson. They've lost to UAB. They've lost 3 straight. And their schedule, other than UCLA right before Christmas, the rest of their non-conference is Rider, South Alabama, UMBC, Alcorn State, Nicholls State, Coppin State. I mean,
bad.
They have no good wins.
And the Big Ten isn't going to be as good probably. So Maryland's going to have a hard time coming back from this.
I mean, they don't play anybody in the top 30 of KenPom going forward in the non-conference.
Other than
UCLA. Then with that being said, the only Big Ten teams that are top 30 are Purdue and Michigan State.
Right.
So it's like, you're right, your opportunities. And that can change. The Big Ten can certainly right the ship a little bit here if they start winning some games, but it's got to be someone other than Purdue.
Yes.
Like Purdue can do their part, but they need some other teams to win. So it's not just one team that you're getting that's high up in those rankings.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you with Maryland. I don't think you can pick anybody else. Honestly, I think they're the biggest. St. Mary's and Maryland are, to me, the two biggest disappointments. At least Michigan State.
They are still in a place where they can get right.
Correct. And losing to Duke on a neutral court, no shame in that
shame.
one. Obviously, losing to JMU at home, not a good loss. But like Maryland and St. Mary's have multiple bad losses already.